Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little. Or a lot.
Of course, were the real powerhouses in the conference. Last year. And that Oval celebrated 100 years recently, and in such a famous ground. The men's team steps out once again. This is the second year since the men's team returned for Met Oval. It was a truly groundbreaking first season. Well, we have our expected starting 11s for this evening for Met Oval. Max Paffman in goal. In front of him is going to be a back three, Mikel. So Retzers is going to be the right centre-back. Bagnato, who was in the conference Northeast team of the season last year, is going to be at the centre of the defence. Posada, left centre-back. Our wing-backs are going to be very familiar. TJ Bernard at the left wing-back position. Nelson Reynoso, who just finished his freshman year at Stony Brook, in which he played 18 games. He's going to be on the right side. He was Met Oval's second top scorer last year in the league for clubs. And then the midfield two is going to be Giacomo Manna and Andy Casher. Andy Casher is as reliable as a metronome in the middle. Superb technician. Xavi-esque with a lower centre of gravity, can turn on a penny. 100% footballing IQ. Then our front three is going to be Massimo Morania, Justin Jean-Louis as the wingers, and Glenford Gentle in the centre forward position. For the visitors, Kingston, we're going to have Clinton in goal, Tim and Max Moby at centre back, Austin Mowbray at right back, Dolan at left back, Karangawa in the defensive midfield, Christian Verhoyle in centre midfield alongside Siegel, Mellon at right wing back, Gles Verhoyle at centre forwards, and Salguero leading the line. Gus Hoyle will kick us off here at the Oval. Well, so far so good for the defending National League for Clubs champions, Met Oval 3-3, and looking to carry on that form. Kingston Stockade have had a decent start as well. I know, talking with John Burklow on the weekend, he was certainly expecting a tricky contest here tonight. It's always high tempo and often memorable here at the Oval. Sit back and enjoy the next 90 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pretty narrow field here, although decently long. Definitely makes for a very technical game. As I was slightly mistouched there by Jess Hoyle. In terms of formations, Met Oval playing the 3-4-3 that Coach Burklow favoured so often last year. Very bold formation that a lot of teams would not be able to pull off, honestly. Often Met Oval, trying to play out at the back, would be having 3-on-3s in their own penalty area, but the quality of all the players across the board under pressure is indisputable, and it was so rare that they did make errors playing it out from the back, and often led to suffocating pressure. Sent forwards towards Glenford Gentle. Couldn't quite bring it down. Tim hammers it clear. Salguero. Really good recovery tackle by Andy Casher. Plenty of returners for Met Oval in the squad tonight from last year. 11 to be precise. Here's Bagnato, who was the real beating heart of Met Oval's defence throughout the title-winning season. Posada also an important part of it. Almost the entirety of this team as well are Met Oval graduates. And that has regularly shown with the ability of Coach Burklow to make a lot of subs and very little often changes in terms of the style of play for Met Oval, the fluidity. They know the methodology, they've been drilled in it for so many years, as here comes Kingston with an early sporting effort by Mellon, but nothing too threatening. But certainly a young team for Met Oval, lots of players who are recent graduates of the under-19s, of which Coach Burklow is also their head coach of, and many out for a year or two. Posada couldn't thread the needle. Hammer clear by Max Mowbray. Mellon. Giacomo Manna with the tackle. The referee is going to have Kingston step back a little bit. Kingston coming from the Hudson Valley. Hooked out by Manna. And Bernard down the channel. Smart ball to Gentle, who was watched very closely by Max Mowbray. That Oval coming off of a victory last Saturday against First State, their first game out of the North Division in the NorthEast Conference. Relatively comfortable against First State. Both teams, in fact, having 2-0 wins on Saturday. As Max Mowbray is going to get a little talking to. There was a heavy tackle on Kasha. And you may be able to hear exactly what Kingston's coach thinks about it. I think it does have a point they got the ball, but also it was quite a heavy tackle. Foot did look a little raised there. You always are running the risk of a whistle being blown on you. Posada drills it cross field. Wasn't quite the right pass. I think he was looking for Reynoso there. Nelson Reynoso, lovely touch by him. Lions lady bringing up her flag. I think she felt, I might have seen, she was very well positioned. A little clip from Reynoso, accidentally on the heels of the skipper Dolan as he skipped past him. Reynoso is a non-stop engine on that right side. Streak up and down it. He was a huge goal provider for Met Oval. In terms of back of the net finishes himself, also his delivery. Reynoso, towering leap. That's a little bit of a loose header. Moreno was searching for gentle, cut out by Karangawa. Posada just about holds on to possession. It's a very high press from Kingston early on, indeed from both sides. Again, that's something that this tight pitch lends. The question is, how long can each team hold it up for? Though it is certainly significantly cooler tonight than we've had on some other days, and that what we're expecting to have on the weekend. Rain potentially on the horizon, and even a low chance of thunder showers tonight. Hopefully they don't materialise. Kasha. Austin Mowbray. Kangaroo ran into danger. Arania didn't punish him. Played out Dolan down the channel. Siegel. Soretzes with the tackle. That's worked into Dolan, who turns, and Reynoso did the defensive work. First corner kick of the evening.
Joey, if you're going to go, Johnny's got to hold. Joey, you can go. Noah, come here. Joey, you go.
Owen Siegel, well, delivering this corner. Karangawa, certainly the biggest target in the penalty area to aim for. Fafman got two hands on it, punched it away from danger. And Max Mowbray wins the throw-in for the visitors. Held in. Awkward for Bagnato, headed back into the mix. A first time volley over the crossbar. Good chance for Christian Verhoyle. Just couldn't quite get over it. Posada jumped in for that header at the front post, who just slightly nudged off it, and the bounce caught Bagnato out, who wasn't expecting it. But Met Oval survived the first clear chance of the game. Reynoso heading it on. Popped up by Tim. Morania. Glenford gentle. I just wondered, the referee could have let the advantage be played there for a second. And both Reynoso and Dolan coming off a little worse for wear there from that collision. I think it's head on head. And Dolan has got some blood on the head, so he's going to need to get some medical attention. Reynoso is being made to come off as well.
But he is, guys, it's only if there's actually symptoms. It doesn't matter if they hit heads. If there's no symptoms, what are we doing?
Both players down to 10 for now. So it's going to be Morania and Bernard. And there's a debate now about Reynoso if he can come back on or not.
Nonsense, man. Yes, it is nonsense.
Morania and Bernhard are over the free kick. It's Morania, and it's a couple of feet over the crossbar. So both players down, both teams, excuse me, down to 10 for now. Turn up down the channel. Kiss for Hoyle. Gives chase and retrieves. Paganato forcing him out. Paganato, one of the more experienced heads in this Met Oval team, just finished his college career at Boston University. Good ball round the corner by Tim. Christian Verhoyle. And it's a smart build up by Kingston, and that cross by Siegel was not far away from just Verhoyle. Ball's kept in by Austin Mabray. Karangawa.
Kill him, Glenn, kill him, Glenn, kill him, Glenn.
He's forced back by Gentle. Sent over the top, and Fafman didn't take any chances, punched out. Good footwork by Salguero. Siegel. Back to Tim. Lovely switch. Austin Mowbray on the second attempt. Hammers it in, wasn't a good cross. A little bit loose in the back from Met Oval. Salguero gets it back. Salguero! Fafman smothers the ball. Good goalkeeping. Lovely interchange between Salguero and Verhoyle. Nearly the key to unlock Met Oval's defence. Well, it looks as if Kingston are going to be forced to make a change for the bloodied skipper, Dolan. Robert Pesantes is stripped down. I think there was a split on the head of Dolan as that sent towards Gentle, just a little bit too much on the pass. I think Kingston will be pleased with the start they made against the national champions. Neither side has really had full control of the game, and Kingston have had the better of the opportunities, although very few in the final third. Kasha sprays it to Bernard, who's got a good delivery on him. That wasn't one of his best. Kingston will make the change now. So, looks like Pesantes will go to the right, to the left back position, so it's a straight switch. Here's Mana onto his left foot. Mana still tried to cut back, lost his footing. He felt there was contact. Morenia a little unhappy, he didn't receive that ball. I think he felt as if Mana had overrun that, and Morenia had made an overlapping run on the left side. Bernard. Kasha. Kingston do not want to let him turn in that pocket. It can cause all sorts of mayhem. Bagnato. A little bit of indecision at the back for Kingston. Clinton restoring order. Ranganwa. And here comes the smothering Met Oval press. It's well played out by the visitors. Lovely ball round the corner. Helped on by Christian Verhoyle. It's a sweeping break. Salguero checked temporarily and then permanently by Zaretzes. A really good play out from the back by Kingston. Met Oval pressed onto them, and good ball out by Mowbray. Took about 6 white shirts out of the game. Posada back to Pfaffman. Poor ball by Posada. Siegel, who's now wearing the armband for Kingston. Max Mowbray didn't catch that right. Bernard able to hold on to it. John Lewis. Reynoso. Oh, it flashed across the face of goal. Just a fraction ahead of Morenia at the back post. Headed out by Zaretzes. Held in. Headed out by Bagnato. Karangawa holds on to it. Siegel. Mowbray. Give and go with Mellon, and his return pass was blocked. Kasha under a lot of pressure. And Met Oval haven't played out of the pressure. Low shot. Tame one by Salguero. Good effort, a good chance even. Should have done better with the effort, in all honesty. But that is always the slight gamble for Met Oval when they play out the back. They're willing to take that gamble because most of the time they can play out. But nearly punished there. Jean-Pierre. Jean-Louis, excuse me. Gentle couldn't return it to him. End to end here at the Oval. Driven crossfield by Mellon. It's a lovely ball. Salguero a little off with his first touch, but finds the substitute, Pasantes. Austin Mowbray. Siegel. Pass man up. Pasantes hammered that into Kashoven. Jean-Louis, Met Oval just do a little bit of the ball to feel some sense of control. I think Kingston will feel happy with the last 3 or 4 minutes, denying their host much possession.
Continue to communicate.
Reynoso. Down the channel. But too much on it for Jean-Louis. The referee's going to have a word with Posada and Kiss Verhoyle. I think had it coming together off the ball. Moved forwards by Clinton. Flicked on by Gisforhill, who is judged to have impeded the man jumping with him. Kasha. Zaretsas. Posada. Bagnato mishit that crossfield ball is intended for Bernard. And Mellon invited forwards by Verhoyle, slightly too much on it. Mellon scoring on Saturday against Brooklyn City. For Kingston, as I think it's Manor who's down for Met Oval. And the trainer's being waved on. Some concern for Coach Burklow. Well, whilst we have this pause, guys, let me remind you today's broadcast is sponsored by Umbro, who are making fantastic custom kits for all clubs. You can head to umbroteams.com to learn more. And Met Oval would like to thank their sponsors, Sansode Foods and Taro Pressure. I think everyone may be happy to have a quick breather. It's been a breathtaking start in terms of the end-to-end. So the end-to-end football. It's actually Bagnato who took the knock. Bagnato temporarily off because he had the trainer's attention and waved back on. Zaretsas. Gentle. Kasha. 360 awareness. As usual with Andy Kasha. Kasha got an interception, but back again with Kingston. Good step by Zaretzes, and he shaped that ball with the outside of his foot. Idea was there, execution wasn't. Oval's stats in the Northeast Conference, if you include the Northeast playoffs as well, were pretty staggering. They got 37 goals in 12 games, and most notably of all, 17 different goal scorers. There was a lot of rotation in and out of the squad. But as I alluded to earlier, with almost everyone being a Met Oval graduate, it was often very smooth slotting new players into the lineup. Walty Saunders was the top scorer last year for Met Oval, not in the squad at the moment, as Manor comes forwards onto his right. Manor! It was saved very smartly initially by Clinton, then it clattered off the back of Max Mowbray, and Clinton had to make a save again. Teasing, jinking footwork by Manor, who did really well to craft himself half a yard there. He'll take this corner as well. Whipped in towards the far post. Free header is going to come on the edge to Bernhard, who rode this first tackle, not the second. Reynoso hasn't really cleared it where he would have liked to. Pesantes has got that all wrong, and it's shepherded back by Zaretzes to Fafman. I think it was Bagnato connected on that head at the far post, got the angle all wrong. Came through a lot of bodies, might not have seen it clearly, but if he had got the right connection, surely the opener. High quality ball in by Manor. Reynoso. Lovely touch by Jean-Louis. Kasha. Bernard. Jean-Louis. Not sure if that was an attempt on target. I think he may have been searching for Morania, who was coming in at the far post. Beautiful touch by Jean-Louis to break the lines. Commanding header by Zaretzes. Zaretzes even, excuse me. Morania bringing it down. Took one touch too many and was stopped. Cute touch around the corner. And then not quite enough quality on the ball in behind by Mellon. Sada. Bagnato. Reynoso. Give and go with Jean-Louis. Really well done. It's Glenford. Gentle saved once more by Clinton. Met Oval starting to find their tempo here. Beautiful sweeping move down the right side. Jean-Louis again combining. Reynoso absolutely clattered by Pesantes. Referee felt like he got enough of the ball really loose in the middle by Kingston. Kasha gives it to Morania. Shapes it across. Glenford Gentle. Rebound. Met Oval have the breakthrough. It's Andy Kasha who hammers it in. The hosts exploded into life. Peppered Kingston's goal the last few minutes. And Clinton made the first stop, but nothing he could do with Kasha racing in point blank. And the national champions take a 1-0 lead at the Oval. And what felt like a very even game these first 30 minutes suddenly tilted towards Met over the last minute or two. They became much more threatening in their combinations, were finding space in behind, drawing stops from Clinton.
Thank you.
Andy Kasha provides many things for Met Oval. Not too many goals typically, but showed poacher's instincts there. With this positioning to feed off of that rebound. Bagnato not taking any chances. Santos a little loose with his pass. Posada. Tried to force it through to Gentle. Didn't pay off his seagull. Karangawa. Beautifully curving ball towards Salguero, who took it first time. A few feet past that back post. But certainly can't blame him for taking it first time. It was decently settling for him. Could have caught Fafman out with the early strike. The Rexers. John Lewis. Perhaps his first wayward touch of the evening. Referee's going to play a good advantage here for Salguero, who steamed through a couple of white shirts. Eventually got stopped. Gentle. Again, John Lewis loose with the pass. One back by Manor. Bernard. Searches for Glenford Gentle. Nearly found him. Bernard on the opening day for Met Oval played an exquisite pass from about that exact position, threaded it through 5 or 6 defenders. Couldn't quite recreate the magic there. Posada. Gentle was in an offside position on the initial pass. I do wonder, with the temperature that has dropped to this evening, whether perhaps the teams might be able to manage to play at this pretty breakneck pace, the entire 90 minutes. It is really quite cool now, about 65 degrees. Thankfully clouded over a few hours before kick-off. Bernard. Lost by Bernard. Siegel. Posada showing him outside and timing the tackle well. And even better from Met Oval's perspective, they get the throw in too. Siegel. Max Mowbray goes back to Clinton. Coach Berklow urging his team forwards, wanting their visitors to be afforded no time on the ball whatsoever. Tim dinks it up to Verhoyle, flicks it on. Fafman's anticipation has been good thus far in the 18-yard box. Sets their danger there well on the flick on. Zaretzas. Lost as he tried to play out the back. So Aguero. Getting on the edge. Austin Mowbray had the space there. Wasn't the best of strikes. Siegel. Well, despite the scoreline, it's certainly been very even in terms of the balance of play. I think you could possibly say Kingston have had slightly better this first half. Met Oval had a very fluid spell around when they scored the goal, but have not always been as coherent in possession as we're used to seeing by their very high standards. So Aguero.
You gotta stay home, yeah? Go ahead, Brody. Noah, you can go. Johnny, sit at the top, yeah? Noah, you can go.
Siegel spins it in. There's a good ball, not really dealt with. There's a bit of argy-bargy. The referee judged by Kingston, and Melville get the let off. Fafman not looking entirely convincing with his handling there. Posada. Bagnato. Kasha. Never panicked. Zaretzas looks for the space in behind. John Lewis is on the end of it. He had Glenford Gentle galloping through the middle. I just wonder whether John Lewis could have sent that first time across the 6-yard box. Perhaps he felt as if the angle had been closed by the imposing Tim. Man will get the loose ball. Too heavy with his touch, and Kasha will clear, and that has actually turned out to be a useful ball for Morania. He's loose with his pass. And then that's a naughty tackle by Morania, who's going to go into the book, and there'll be absolutely no complaints about that. So guys, a reminder, we're going to have lots of action coming up this weekend. APSL NorthEast semi-finals. Predators against Hoboken, Nova against Kickoff Leeds. We just let this attack run. Here's Salguero's come over to the right flank, cuts onto his right foot. Really well placed by Posada, and it's kept in by Bernard. But we're going to have the APSL NorthEast semi-finals. Westchester Predators against Hoboken. Hoboken, who beat the Pan Cyprians away from home on Sunday to win the Metro Conference. That's going to be 4 p.m. Nova against Kickoff Elites at 7 p.m. Then we're going to have the final on Sunday at 12 p.m. And we're going to have more League for Clubs action on Sunday evening. Excelsior will host First 8. All that on Game of Frame YouTube. Loose by Salguero. Menon and Salguero have switched flanks for now. We're in the final few minutes of the first half. Imagine we'll get at least 2 or 3 minutes of stoppage time for the head injury to the skipper of Kingston, Dolan, which thankfully didn't look as if he was showing concussions. It was at least from the distance I was. Let's just hang on a second. Flag up against Reynoso. But it looked as if, in terms of concussion and stuff, he looked okay. But he did have a nasty split on his forehead, forced to be subbed off. And Morania took a little bit of a gamble there, picking up that ball as well on a yellow. John Lewis, I think even some of the Met Oval teammates giving Morania a bit of a talking to about that. He took a big gamble picking that ball up. So often referees will take no flexibility now with a player interfering with the ball when the opposition has a free kick. Posada. That diagonal switch didn't pay off at all. Flicked on. Back to Posada again. Kasha. Giuseppe Bagnato to Morania. They'll win the throw. So Retzers, Jean Lewis. Bernard back into Jean Lewis. And Morania has got some space to drive up into here. Takes the cross first time. Bit of a lead foot there. Cross far too over hip.
Hey, manage it. Last 2. Stay locked in together. Come on.
Kingston can take a lot of positives from this first half. They've gone toe-to-toe against the national champions, who they lost to both times in 2025. And this has been a game of very fine margins thus far. The margins going in Met Oval's favour, but Kingston had a good chance or two down the other end. Christian Vahoyle switched it to Salguero. He sends it down the channel to Ches Vahoyle, who went too early.
Second earlier. Here we go.
All right, it might have been a case of the pass slightly late. Fired out by Fafman. That's Mowbray with the header.
locked in under a minute. Stay locked in under a minute. Come on.
Morenia.
Yes.
First touch not quite right from Mana. Posada first to the 50-50, but then it's helped out to Austin Mowbray. Bagnato forcing him into the corner.
Okay?
And that was a little bit wasteful by Kingston. And just hearing from the referee, 3 minutes of stoppage time in this first half.
How
50-51 by Tim, but Kasha, the goal scorer, picks up the loose ball. Reynoso. Kasha again. Helps it on to Reynoso. He sends it across to Morenia. Flag stays down. Morenia! Chance wasted. That first touch just took him a bit wide there. Massimo Morenia. Metov will come again. Jean-Louis. Bernard. Wayward with the cross. Morenia with a big chance there, and he knows it. Doubling the lead right before the interval would have been a huge boost for Met Oval. But his first touch reduced the angle, and Clinton came out very quickly to shut out the chance. Awkward for Bernard. Soretz's getting control of the situation. Loose by Bernard. Pasantes. Siegel. And Austin Mowbray. Perhaps showing the signs of the fatigue of a very fast tempo first half.
Last 90 seconds, see it through. Stay locked in.
Loose by Fafman. Kingston. Probably the last attack of the game. Driven in. Cross took a deflection, and that will come harmlessly into the hands of Max Fafman.
Work with us!
Bernard, and it's really loose from Metovo late on there. 3 times they made unforced errors playing out from the back. Could prove costly. It's for Hoyle. Brilliant save by Fafman. Rebound. So Retzia's in the right place. Siegel outside the football. It's a good one. Really nicely dealt with by Reynoso. Met Oval finishing the half on the heels. Really the architects of their own downfall nearly. Bernard, perhaps the most relieved man in the stadium. Hafman got down low to make the stop. And that was the final action of the first half. Met Oval with the narrow lead. But it has been very back and forth. Kingston will be disappointed they couldn't get themselves a goal at the end of the half, and indeed they had a few decent chances earlier on too. All still to play for here at the Oval in Queens, New York. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back shortly with the second half.
From soccer fields across the USA to the legendary stadiums of Spain and Portugal, for 40 years, Petrobax has been the go-to expert for group travel to Spain and Portugal.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Is going to be replaced by Spencer Kreitzer.
Coach, with all due respect, what you're doing is not acceptable. You're shouting all across the field. So it means if you could do it, they're going to be allowed to do it. If you have something to say.
So it looks as if no changes from Kingston Stockade, who made the one change in the first half for the injured Dolan. Casantes replacing him. But I think overall they'll be relatively happy, Kingston Stockade, with how that first half went. Despite the scoreline, they had good chances. Best of them was right before the half-time interval when it's given away very cheaply by Metropolitan. And Fafman denying Kirsver Hoyle point blank. And Metropolitan not really finding a rhythm in that first half. Had their moments, certainly. Reynoso is going to get himself a free kick and get the substitute Casantes' name into the book right at the start of this half. Not sure there was a huge amount of contact in that, but Santos certainly threw himself in. I think that was enough for the referee. Driven down the channel. Sean Lewis, who was one of the standout players for Metover in that first half, had some lovely touches. Lost at that time, and Salguero surging into the middle, and there's a little tug on him. He might have lost control of that ball, but there's certainly a little tug on him.
So he's stopping him from a break. They're touching his face. Jesus Christ, it's a break. How is that not a card?
There's a little conversation between Glenford Gentle and Karen Ganwa off the ball. Seem to be picking up some heat. The national champions are going to have to be very vigilant in this second half. Very slender lead they have. First half felt like it could have tipped either way at any point. I'd imagine Coach Burklow be hoping that his team can take this match to Kingston Stockade in the second half and find that second goal, give themselves a cushion. He's got plenty more options to call on from the bench, including Carlos Villa, as here's Jean Lewis and Glenford Gentle. The flag is up. That looked very tight indeed. But perhaps just about the wrong side of the margin from Glenford Gentle. But we have Carlos Villa on the bench. Metover, the regular skipper last year. Just finished his freshman year at Queen's College, which he made a very impressive 20 starts. Much like Nelson Reynoso, he's an explosive fullback. Gives a huge amount at either end of the field. Timms for Hoyle. The danger read by Zaretsas. Held in. Bagnato clearing the danger. And Glenford Gentle was hauled on the shoulder by Karanganwa. I have to say, it's not been the most even-tempered game. We haven't seen anything really explosive, but everyone is certainly chipping away at each other. And that's not going to help. Siegel not particularly close to the ball there. Zaretsas. Sada gets it back from Bagnato. Bagnato going straight down the middle. Mania too heavy on the second ball. Bagnato first to the loose pass from Kingston. Mania. Reynoso fires it into Sullivan. Loose with his setback. Guess for Hoyle. It's a good ball to Salguero. Sieg on the overlap. Salguero gives it to him. Siegel ran it out.
Hey, unlucky, head up! Unlucky, head up! Justin, stretch for now. Stretch for now.
Bernard. Gentle. Man up. Bernard to Sullivan, who's going to drive into the space. Well covered by Max Mowbray. Bernard lofts it up towards Jean-Louis, too high for him. Kasha, whose goal separates the sides. And that was Met Oval's 12th goal of this League for Club season, averaging 3 a game. Gentle. Ball cut out before it could reach Reynoso. Dusk beginning to settle here in Queens. The floodlights are on at this historic field.
Hey, head up, stay positive. Head up, stay positive. We're good. Head up.
Pagnato rise up. Sullivan flicks it on. Bernard back to Sullivan, cut out by Max Mowbray. Mellon. It's a decent looking ball, brought down by Christian Verhoyle, who then lost his footing as he prepared to unwind a shot.
This way! Brody! This way!
Austin Mowbray. Collision off the ball play continues.
Keep it, Brody, keep it. Look this way!
Max Mowbray. Sent over the top towards Gus Verhoyle. Flicks it back to Mellon. Looked threatening, but the attack ran out of steam. Kasha will get it back a second time. Sullivan. Met Oval coming forwards in numbers. Bernard sends it across the shot box, and somehow it's ended up going wide. Jean-Louis at that far post touched it back towards the goal, and then Gentle agonisingly fell short. Threw everything he could at it.
Here you go, boss.
As both sides are preparing to make changes. Just past the 10-minute mark in the second half. Really good opportunity for Met Oval. Magnificent ball in by TJ Bernard. But no second for the hosts. Give and go between Salguero and Pasantes. Pasantes back to Siegel. That's just about stayed in. Pasantes holds off the tackle by Kasha, sets it back. Manu is at the front post. Kasha touched it away, and it will come to Glenford Gentle. Gentle holding up the ball well. So Rex has found Bernard, but he was offside, and I think we're going to get our changes. So Eric Vargas, who's going to replace Christian Verhoyle for Stockade.
Come on, boys, let's go. Here we go.
And there's 3 changes prepared for Meto, but they're actually going to hold off just a little longer. So Guerrero. Tim to Clinton. Bernard. Kasha. We're going to get 2 more changes for Kingston Stockade as well, so both benches making moves at the moment. Loose ball. Right, so Retzers on the first attempt, he gets it back the second time and gets the return from John Lewis. I think he was looking for Bernard, but it was a poor pass on that left side, and that has just been the case sometimes for Meto. There's been a little lack of quality at times with the passing by the standards they set of almost scientific precision at times in possession. Karen Ganwa finds Mellon. Austin Mowbray. Siegel. Salguero. 1 touch too many. But possession retained by Vargas for Stockade. Bagnato. Chrysler returns it to him. Bagnato fires it cross-field. And Bernard, a bit too physical, running it back from Austin Mowbray, and here comes the changes. So Guerrero is one of the subs to be replaced, doesn't look particularly pleased to be withdrawn, and Mellon also. So both wingers for Stockade have been taken off. Brady Lightner, who scored on the weekend, is going to come on to the left flank. And Davis Barnes on the right. And for Met Oval, Kasha off. Justin Blanco, a returner for Met Oval, will come on for him. And we had 2 other changes. I'll just get my bearings on in a second. So it looks like quick one Aaron has come on for Justin John Lewis. He's on the right wing. And we'll get a look in a second who's coming at centre back. It appears to be Bagnato, who's been withdrawn. So Retzers finds Justin Blanco. Blanco, another superb possession player, can wriggle out of the tightest of spaces. So Retzers managed to buy himself a free kick off of Lightner. The substitute eager but penalised. Mariat is in the centre-back position for Metovo, on for Bagnato. And here is Mariat, who's certainly got an imposing physical presence. The other substitute, Aaron. Reynoso. Zaretsas, there's a space down that right flank. Blanco charged up into it. Kingston Stockade survive for now. Another change coming for the hosts. They're going to wait until they've done this set piece. Or the throw-in even, excuse me. Aaron. Reynoso, positive first touch. Towards the far post. Slightly too high for Glenford Gentle. Bernard keeps it alive. Sullivan. Asked too much there of Manya. And now Stockade will look to break. Kiss for Hoyle. Marriott policing that situation well. Sullivan. Open minute of the game, but Sullivan wasteful there with possession. Marriott, another Met Oval alum among many in the squad and a current University of Virginia player. Glenford Gentle here is going to be withdrawn, and it's Brendan Tansey who will replace him. Scored on the end of a beautifully worked move by Met Oval against Brooklyn City. In the game before their last, actually featured in our May Goal of the Month nominees. Tansey currently at Monmouth University. And gives it all the way back to Kreitzer, who hasn't seen much of the ball, the goalkeeper that's coming on. Not sure he's had to make a save. That was a bit of a loose pass, but Marriott dealing with it well. Tansey with his first touch. Reynoso. Aaron let it run. I think hoping it would make its way on to Chris Sullivan. Another change for Monmouth. Fourth change, or fifth even, excuse me. Jess Hoyle replaced, and Larry Harris on for him. Hold in towards Tansey. Aaron and Tansey cornered Plasantes, but fullback does get the throw in. Marriott didn't get that first header right. There comes away to Zaretsas. Man up. Lovely interchange by Met Oval. That last pass just too heavy for Bernard. Blanco. Zaretsas. Marriott into Tansey, who tries to turn the corner. Well stopped by Tim. Zaretsas. Posada. Blanco. Posada Don't think was aware of how close on his shoulder Barnes was. Managed to just about keep possession. Sent down the channel and the flag will go up against Bernard. And here comes another change for Met Oval. And that was Bernard's final action. And it's Carlos Villa returning to the field for Met Oval, a linchpin of the national title winning side last year. He was the captain who lifted the trophy. Reynoso. Aaron. Unable to find a teammate. Carlos Villa upping it down the channel. Tanzi. Good step by Tim. Blanco plucks it out the sky. Out from the corner to Carlos Villa. Lost it a little too easily to Austin Moby. It's helped on, and Siegel is going to give chase, and Kreitzer off his line together.
Hey, continue to communicate. Come on, stay with each other.
Marriott drives it down the channel. Tanzi touched it to be a lovely touch there by Tanzi. Tim's winning back possession for Kingston. Overran it. Aaron. And it returns possession for Met Oval. Aaron. Villa. Manor again. Searching for the gap, which Tanzi is going to try and exploit, and it was last-ditch stuff there from Tim. Tanzi has the fresh legs. Tim does not, and perhaps could just sense Tanzi making up ground on him over the shoulder.
Robert!
And the substitute, Pasantes, is going to be withdrawn. He came on early in the game, very early. He's going to be replaced by Patrick Cuneo, even, excuse me.
Yeah, you played well, man. I'm just worried about the bar.
Met Oval with the corner hit, swung towards the far post. Marriott got some contact on it, not clean contact.
Yeah. Vargas, you're with Nate. You got Patty ahead of you now. You're with Nate.
So Piers Siegel's gone to left back for Stockade. Cuneo heavy with his first touch. Posada. Karanganwa couldn't bring it down. Tanzi. Hasn't been the most entertaining of second halves, truth be told. Not a lot of chances. Neither side has really found a flow.
Unlucky.
Siegel. Pass makes its way all the way through to Marriott. And Mana is going to surge through, looking for a foul. I think he got clipped initially. A referee playing on uncompromising by Reynoso. He got the ball.
Hey, it's a high line. Get a couple in over the top.
Max Mowbray searching cross field. The flag stayed down against Lighten Up. Too much juice on the pass.
Emmett, come on.
Inside the final 20 minutes. here at the Oval. It's still Andy Cash's goal on the 30-minute mark that separates the sides. But the result far from a foregone conclusion. Sullivan. Tansey.
There you go for Nate in the 6.
Villa.
You got Vargas as your 8, and you got Patty ahead of you.
Dealt with calmly by Siegel. Emmett Olsen is going to be the final substitute to come on for Kingston. Barnes chasing after this. Posada able to contain the situation.
German! 8, 5.
Karen Ganwa is going to come off it.
Come here for 1 sec.
Remember in the front, you're on the center back. Don't drift so far inside. So what?
Only for the last 10 if we get there, yeah.
Keep going. You got all this space.
Play this out for about 8 or so.
Misha, give him a...
Not the cleanest by Metoval. Morese able to hold onto that ball just back and then razzle dazzle in his own third with the scissors. Played that out nicely. And then Manya stepped on the ball and Kreitzer clearing it. It's just all been a little bit untidy from Metoval. Playing out from the back on too many occasions, I think, for Coach Berklow's liking.
Tempo! Tempo!
Max Mowbray on a penny for Barnes, who brings it down well. Tansey dropping deep to help out the defence. And he wins the throw in too. Ball falls to Blanco. Crunching tackle by Tim. Vargas dinks it out to the left flank. Brady lighten up. Onto his right foot. Low drive. Might just have been sneaking into that near post. I think more likely it was going to hit that post, maybe the outside of it, but Kreitzer, of course, had to be short. Corner kick for Kingston Stockade as we move towards the final quarter of an hour. We're in for a tense finale here in Queens. Swung in. And that wasn't too far away from the far post, that corner. But goes out for a goal kick. And guys, reminder, we're going to have lots of exciting action this weekend on Game of Frame. We're going to have the APSL NorthEast National, or NorthEast Finals, I should say, this weekend. On Saturday, we're going to have at 4 p.m. Westchester Predators, defending national champions, the 2025 Amateur Cup champions, against Hoboken FC, who have made a habit of being the Giant Slayers recently. They beat the Greek Americans and the Pan-Serbians away to get this far. That's going to be 4 p.m. Nova FC, a giant from the Mid-Atlantic, will be playing kick-off elites at 7 p.m. and then the winner of those two semis will kick off on Sunday at 12 p.m. All that coming to you live from Pennsylvania. And we'll also have more League for Clubs action in the evening on Sunday. Excelsior against First State at 5 p.m. coming to you from St. John's Belson Stadium.
Yes, go Brody, go Brody.
Whipped in. Headed out by Posada. Sent back where it came from by Mowbray, and then popped up into the air, sent into orbit by Aaron. Look, well, that first touch there from Siegel. Passed the first touch test with flying colours. Mowbray hammers it forwards again. It's getting more direct from Kingston as they just begin to feel the tick of the clock. But there's certainly plenty of belief among the visitors they can get a point here against the reigning Leafer Club champions. Mowbray. Good step by Posada. And then a loose ball down the channel to Barnes. That came off of a hand. The referee's going to play advantage. And it was just outside the penalty area. That contact right on the borderline. At least it looked like that to me on the first viewing. But certainly came off the hands of Marriott. Kingston Stockade will have to settle for a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. Delivery swung in on frame, hit the wall, and then I think it was Aaron with the final touch. It was a desperate touch because that ball, even after deflection off the wall, was cannoning towards the goal with a lot of black shirts surging into the 6-yard box. And a decent clearance in a very tight spot in the end for Met Oval, but more defending to do here for the hosts. Swung in, big shout by Chrysler, who got a strong hand, and he got absolutely poleaxed there as he made the punch. And he'll get the free kick.
That's a handball! He played it! That's a handball! What is actually going on right now?
Posada driving it forward. Metova could just do with a little bit of possession on the ball right now. Kingston Stockade are playing to pressure these last few minutes. Mind you, Met Oval have won it back. Chris Sullivan plucks it down. Then Vargas canning it off of Reynoso. Villa. Posada. Hopeful knockback forwards. Liner couldn't get it under his spell. Mana. Bagnato. Marriott. Loose pass. Zaretsas. Reynoso has got some space here. He's got some white shirts to aim for as well. Cut out of the near post by Tim. And then Tim hammers it clear a second time.
Head up.
Mana. Posada switches it to Zaretsas. Now loose by Marriott. We're inside the final 10 minutes here. The slender lead for Met Oval intact. But just tentatively Manor lost his footing. Barnes. Tried to take on one too many players there, Barnes. Leitner. Lovely give and go. Leitner comes into the area. What a recovery tackle by Reynoso. And the last touch came off of Leitner too. Absolute full stretch there, Nelson Reynoso. Had to get that inch perfect in the box, and he certainly did.
Chasing balls again, all this time. Chasing balls, please. Yep. Stay here. What are you saying?
Flicked on, and Aaron is in behind here. Couldn't capitalise on the opportunity. Good flick on there by Tanzi. And the play is going to be allowed to continue here. Leitner is coming into there. This could be very controversial. Leitner goes down. Shot is blocked. Referee blows his whistle. And what's the decision here? He's blown his whistle a few times. What's he given it? So, totally bewildered by what's happened here.
Sir, did we not have possession of the ball? It was a pass backwards. Can somebody help him?
There was a couple of different contacts there, and Metropolitan are going to get with a drop ball. You can hear what Kingston Stockade here about, I think, that pretty quickly. I've got to tell you, I'm totally bewildered. Don't have the benefit of a replay. I have to watch that back to figure out exactly what has happened here. And one thing I didn't expect there was a drop ball to come out of that. I think there's probably a decent argument that the Retzers were going to get a free kick on the initial contact, and then there's also probably a shout for a penalty on Leitner.
Listen to me. We mean in the box. In the penalty area. So you're telling me it's different in the run of play? The other team automatically gets the ball? That's crazy! That's crazy! I have the ball, I pass it to my...
Solanko finds Sullivan. Showed just a little bit too much that ball there to Nelson Reynoso. We always do get some extra flavours when we're on the bench side as well of some of the coach, fourth official conversations.
It's the team. It's the defending team's ball, no matter what.
There's an injury in the box, and if the ball stops, the play stops in the box, automatically goes to the goalkeeper.
Christ, they're clearing. Lighten up. I think I'm going to have to get my rule book out after this game to figure out exactly the rationale behind the drop ball. Might have been one of the more obscure rules potentially in that. Still, play goes on. Still time for Kingston. Leitner sniffing around. He'll keep it in. Olsen. And then the first time strike, a foot wide. Cuneo connecting with it, but not connecting with it well enough. Well, if Metropolitan do come away with the 3 points, it's certainly not been the prettiest victory from their perspective, not by some of the spectacles they put on at this field past year. But a victory is a win nonetheless. And it will put them on a 9-win streak in the league for clubs across the 2 seasons they've been in it, and 10 games unbeaten.
Jesus Christ!
Late tackle there by Aaron. Vargas. Mowbray. Austin Mowbray. Vargas. Chris Sullivan wins it back. That's just about game management for Met Oval. Can they take the heat out of these final 3 or so minutes plus extra time? Not this time. Barnes, well stopped by Posada. Villa, Coach Buckler implores his players to keep the ball, and they might do more than that. It's an overload on the right side. Nelson Reynoso sends it across. Tanzi went for the bicycle kick. Sullivan missed it too. Villa back in. And hat clear by Kingston Stockade.
Owen, just let them know if we go, you're going with us.
Sullivan. The flag is going to
See
go
your linesman!
here against Tanzi. It's very rare Met Oval are involved in a 1-0. I believe the only one that they've had at the Oval since returning to the U23s was in the NorthEast final last year against Atlantic City. That was a very nervy contest. Aaron again clumsy with the tackle, and Kingston is going to get a free kick in a good crossing position.
They were running for coach, eh?
Olsen and Siegel plotting over the free kick. Lofted up, and far too much on that. Not the delivery his teammates needed.
You realize we've been chasing one game ball for the whole second half. Do you realize that? How's that possible? Like, why? We could have at least put them out on. We've literally chased them. It's got to be at least 5 minutes. Just chased every single ball. We're playing with one ball. And they refused 2 minutes? It's not confirmed. It's not confirmed. Relax, coach. 4.
Popped up in the air by Max Mowbray. Sullivan. It's just a knock away. Anywhere will do perhaps now for Met Oval. Edging closer to the 3 points. So Retzers with the header, and he got caught late there. So we're being told 4 minutes of stoppage time. Aaron just about getting the ball there. Man up. And there was an over-eager tackle by Vargas. And he's going to go into the book. Came right through the back of Manya. Oh, then Reynoso's going to get on the end of this one, though. Can he seal it? Nelson Reynoso onto his left foot. And Carlos Villa rocks it over the crossbar. That could have certainly eased some tension for Met Oval. at the field and also all the Met Oval fans watching at home, but you're going to continue to have to hide behind your couches here. We've still got 3 minutes of stoppage time. Marriott with the first header, and Blanco gets the 50-50, couldn't find Sullivan. That looked like it might have come off of Sullivan's hand. Kingston Stockade will get the throw in. Met Oval have survived some scares, certainly in this second half. But actually they've done a decent job of restricting Kingston, even getting possession in the last 2-3 minutes. Plenty of quality. Aaron. He lost it, it's drilled up, and Leitner will scamper after it. Reynoso and him were shoulder to shoulder. There wasn't a lot of contact in there, truth be told. And that is Reynoso's second yellow, and is it? I think it's his first, I didn't confuse with someone else. No, it is his second. Reynoso sent off. Met Oval are going to have to defend these final minutes. Down to 10. Wasn't a lot of contact, but referee judging it was enough for the foul, and certainly it was a foul. Interpretation has to be the yellow. It's stopping the counter-attack. And that means Met Oval, I believe, through the suspension rules, will lose Reynoso for their trip against Sousa this Sunday.
Austin, go. There's nothing left. You gotta go. You gotta go. There's nothing left. Hey,
Vargas, it's just about now or never for Kingston Stockade. Crafted in. Big header at the far post. And this is going to cause a mild riot for Stockade, because a goal kick's been given to Met Oval. Did look from here as if it was Posada who got the last touch. At least from here, from my faraway vantage point. A little less than a minute of the allotted minimum 4 remaining. Met Oval probably just about over the finish line. Mowbray. And there's a swing off the ball, something or other, between Leitner and Sullivan. The referee's reached into his pocket, and it's a straight red for Leitner. Fourth official saw it. Oh, the linesman, they talked to the referee over the walkie-talkie, and Leitner, who managed to get a red off of Reynoso a moment ago, has totally lost his head there. And no goals in the second half, but 2 reds. A bit of an ignominious end here to the contest. And the referee is going to blow full time. And Met Oval haven't won it in the prettiest fashion, but they've won it nonetheless. And depending upon Excelsior's result, they kicked off at 8 p.m. tonight away to Sousa. Met Oval could finish tonight top of the Leaford Club North table. There's a badly tempered game, and now the Kingston Stockade coaches are losing their heads a bit. Right. I have to say, they have been quite mouthy, their Kingston coaching staff, all evening, which I'm sure you've had plenty of this evening. Perhaps beyond the normal bounds of complaining. But the players in the end are all coming together, shaking hands. And it was a closely fought contest, really could have gone either way. Kingston Stockade, it's their second defeat of the season. Met Oval remain 100%. They will go away to Sousa on Sunday. Then it's Excelsior away. We'll have that one against Excelsior on the 20th after the game of frame.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.